So, people want to know, how did I become a trumpet player? Whenever people are, when they ask that question, I'm like, I don't know, the same way people, I don't know, go into their careers. But I had to step back and like realize it is mad random that I am a trumpet player. Like yes, it's a very random thing to do. It's like, what? You would never guess that I'm a trumpet player. You just would never guess that I'm a trumpet player. Yeah, I'm at the point now where I can see exactly why people are like, how did you even end up on this instrument? So to be honest, I am very rare. You don't see a lot of women playing the trumpet. So yeah, let's get into it. I became a trumpet player when I was 12 years old. I was in the 7th grade. Yes, I started at 12, which is very late. A lot of people start playing the instrument very young. That was not the case for me. Now, I will say, my mother was a music teacher. Great music teacher. She didn't force us to get into music. And I love that my mom did not force it upon us. My mom was not that kind of person that's like, I'm making you all take piano lessons because you should. I get it, but she wasn't one of them. And look, it just naturally happened. So, yeah, when I was 12 years old in the 7th grade, I remember being in class. Now, I will note, I did go to the school that my mom taught at. So I was taking her music classes, and honestly, I remembered some stuff, but I wasn't a musician yet. So none of it really stuck, if that makes sense. But yeah, so I would be in class just in general, and I would literally see my brother in the hallway, always going somewhere. And I was just like, why is he not in class like the rest of us? So I asked him, I was like, what could you possibly be doing that you always going somewhere in the hallway while we got to be in whatever class we was in at the time? He said, well, I'm in the school band, and I'm just going to my lesson. So I guess they took students out maybe once or twice a week for 20 to 30 minute periods to go to band practice. So me, being 12 years old, I was like, oh, I'm signing up for the band. I'm getting up out of this classroom. I'm signing up. So I knew my mom and my dad wouldn't think anything of it. I grew up in the black church where, you're in the choir, or at least my family, you was in the choir, or you were playing an instrument. Like, like that was the thing to do. Like, even as far as my grandfather, my pop, he would play the maracas in church. Everybody was always playing something or singing something in my family. So I just knew with me signing up for band, oh, they were just going to love it. They were just going to love that somebody else, a young person in the family, now wants to be involved with music. So, signed up for the band. I go down there to take my first lesson. And at this point, I have to pick an instrument. Originally, I will say, I did want to play the violin. I wanted to be a violin player, but they didn't have any at my school. So, I looked to the rhythm section. I love the bass, but the bass they were all taken up. Piano, all going. Everybody's on the piano, and y'all already know everybody and their mom is on the drums. So I was left with horns. They showed me the saxophone. I was like, absolutely not. There's no way. Look at all these. What is all that? And then the trombone, one slide. I was just like, not enough buttons. Like, I need a middle ground somewhere. Too many buttons. Not enough. So then I see the trumpet. And I'm just like, well, it has 3 buttons. How hard could it be? So I was like, I guess I'm gonna play the trumpet. That is literally how I became a trumpet player. Like, literally, y'all. It was no grand moment where I heard somebody play. It was like, wow. No, it had 3 buttons, and I was just like, well, that looks easy. I guess we're going to do that. Now, how I stayed on the trumpet, that's a different story. I ended up staying on the trumpet because I had an awesome teacher named Nazir Dickerson. Dude was just stellar. So he came in as a student teacher, and he's a saxophonist, by the way, but he's teaching me how to play the trumpet. And, you know, as I said, I thought trumpet would be easy because it had 3 buttons. That was so far from the case. Trumpet was hard. It was definitely challenging, very difficult. But he made it so that it was fun. It was interesting. And I felt safe enough to explore the instrument. So I was the kid, you never had to tell me to practice. You never had to tell me to practice. And I believe that's due to like my upbringing. I grew up in a house to where my mom, like I said, she was a school music teacher, and she did the music at church for Sunday school and stuff. So she is writing songs for the school anthems and stuff like that, and getting stuff ready for Sunday. It'll be 2 a.m. and my mom is downstairs playing the piano, not softly, blasting, playing the piano. And I would just be in my room like, yo, I'm trying to sleep. But growing up in that atmosphere, I guess it just translated in my mind to just be like, okay, I guess this is what you do as a musician. You gotta practice and just work on the stuff. Not once did my mom or dad ever say, you need to give it a rest. You need to quiet down. No, I didn't grow up in that kind of house. They didn't care. I guess they were just happy to see me working on it. So yeah, I would get my mouthpiece. I would try to buzz, and then I would sit next to the radio and turn on the jazz station, or take some CDs that Nazir Dickerson would give to me, because that's what he did. He would give us like an Art Blakey album and would just say, just go home and listen to it and try to play a note to it. So I real life was sitting at home like trying to get notes out to this Art Blakey album or to whatever song was on the radio at the time. And I would just push buttons until it matched. And that's how over time I'll be like, oh, okay, so that sound is this, and that sound is this. So that's literally how I was learning how to play the trumpet. From there, I'll say week 2 of me on the trumpet, he had told me to sign up for this after-school band called the Camden Little Jazz Giants. This was a band led by Hassan Sabri for elementary and middle school kids. So it was perfect for me. So, of course, my mom was just like, absolutely, go do it. So now I'm in this band called the Camden Little Jazz Giants, learning how to play a song like this. Yeah, and we would try our best to play that at the time, and we would be in there learning the blues scale. And then they would teach us this one little line. That, yo, when I tell y'all they ran that to the ground with us, which I appreciate, because as kids, sometimes, you know, when people are teaching a kid an instrument and stuff, it's just so much music. They're trying to teach you how to read it. You're like, I'm just trying to get a note out. So they focused on just having us play. Like, just get these kids to play. And we, like I said, we was learning Sunny Moon for 2 and learning the blues scale. And they taught us one little line that we could attempt to use on our solo as we played throughout the months. We were playing like the same stuff over and over and over for, like I said, months. And it was great because that helped me lock in so much. So I'm gonna even say, so like I told y'all, like 2 weeks into the trumpet, he had me joining Camp Little Jazz Giants, and I promise y'all, within that same month, they talking about some, all right, y'all got a gig at the Cape May Jazz Festival coming up. I'm like, a gig? A show? Who? I'm barely getting the I'm barely hitting that note. What y'all, man? So I just remember being as a kid just being like, there's no way. So next thing you know, y'all, we are at this jazz festival on stage playing. And they talk about some Arnetta solo. So the one line that I said, I wasn't at the point to where I could play that yet. I was not there yet. So y'all, I just remember just saying, all right, I'm not going back down. I'm going to try to take this solo. And I just picked the note. I think it was G, and I just played that rhythmically. I just said, we just gonna play that one note. And I'm hoping it was a G that came out. I don't even remember. I just know I said I might at least try. But here's the beauty in that. What they were teaching us was, you know, how to command the stage, how to just try. We're doing things like developing our stage presence, our stage etiquette as kids. You know, like we're figuring out this stuff in real time in front of a crowd, and just how to attack, you know, the thing that you've been working on. So you got to commit when you on stage. So they were teaching us all of that at such a young age, how to be determined and courageous. And I will forever be grateful for that experience. At 12 years old, it's stuff like that that kept me on the trumpet. Because now, at this point, I'm in 8th grade. I'm getting a little better at the trumpet because the repetition. We getting our reps in, being in the Little Jazz Giants. So yeah, Nazir Dickerson and Hassan Sabri, they did that. Their system that they had for us, it worked, and it's still working till this day, because the Camden Little Jazz Giants is still a thing. Next up is high school. High school got real. It got real really fast. Yeah, because at that point, I'm like, oh man, I'm in there with the big dogs now. Like I said, being in the Little Jazz Giants, we developed, some grit. So I didn't back down from being in the high school band at this point. So I was in marching band where, we learning maybe like 20 songs, because we got to go out to the football game. We're the music. So we learning all these songs. So they just putting sheet music down in front of us. And I just remember being like, I'm still learning how to read, and y'all counting these songs off. But the cool thing was we were playing the hottest songs at the time, or songs that we, grew up on. So we were used to hearing them. And in marching band, like I said, we just looping all those songs over and over and over again, getting our reps in. I was able to see what my favorite songs sounded like. And once I was able to make that visual connection, oh, y'all thought I loved trumpet before? Oh, it just got better, because it felt like my whole world just went woo. That was a good moment. So now I'm learning how to read. And then in marching band, I come from a show style marching band, HBCU type high school marching band. And we were marching and playing these songs. We were not just, standing there. We marching, we dancing while playing these songs. So I'm getting all that experience. And over time, I'm starting to realize, like, wow, so the trumpet is just opening up all these different avenues, or just different perspectives on music. Like, it's so much more to music than music. So yeah. So marching band happened and I enjoyed it. You know, I would say we had a lot of hot days at band camp and then a lot of cold ones too with the different parades we had to do. But then came jazz band season. Oh boy, it felt like the little jazz giants on 10. Like, I was just like, what is happening? So, jazz band comes, and now I'm under the direction of Jamal Dickerson. At this point, he opens it up and says, all right, we have 2 soloists on this song. If you want the solo, I need you to have something prepared next week. And we're going to battle it out to see who gets the solo. So I'm like, I'm a freshman. Am I even allowed to, like, even participate in it? Oh, he opened it up for everybody. So yeah, it was all ground. So I was just like, all right, I guess I'm going to try. That next week came, and it was time for us to take our solos. And I remember my hand, I was just shaking. I was so nervous. I was shaking. But then I took my solo, and it was me and somebody else, I don't remember. And we had to go back and forth, and I just kept trying. So, and next thing you know, I got the solo. So, my whole high school career pretty much was that. Just me shedding, practicing really, really hard. And then we would go play different jazz festivals. And somehow I ended up getting a lot of Best Soloist Awards and stuff. And yeah, it was just a whole lot happening. We were traveling in the jazz band. We went to New Orleans. We went to LA. I just loved what the trumpet was doing at the time. And I love practicing and just getting better at it. To be honest, it never crossed my mind to make the trumpet my career or to be the best, trumpet player in the world, the most famous star on somebody's stage. No, I just really wanted to get good at the instrument. So yeah, high school was me just practicing, just trying to get better and better at this instrument just because I liked playing it and I like to be good at things that I touch. That's just me. And it's been going great. I ended up going to Berklee College of Music and graduating and playing with people like Beyonce. Now I'm with the band AJR. Most recently, I got to perform with Jill Scott and so many more people. So yeah, I know everyone probably wanted the story of somebody was like, you should play the trumpet, or I went to a show and saw this person on stage and I was like, I want to do that too. That's not the story for me. I love that that's the story for so many other people. But as for me, I was 12 years old and just wanted to get out of class. So I said, let me join the band. And I said, oh, trumpet has 3 buttons. I guess we're going to play that. Now I'm here. All right, y'all. Thank you for watching this video. Please be sure to like, subscribe, all the above, and I will see y'all on the next one. Y'all.